Probably pretty important to figure out what is that self-destructive behavior that gets into our relationships. Let's take that on today. What we do in a relationship matters. Some of our behaviors are productive and helpful, and others not so much. I remember attending a seminar by Dr. John Gottman. He is one of the leading researchers in the nation on relationships, particularly marriage, but relationships in general. And as I attended this seminar, it was kind of funny because I was up there for 2 days. I had paid whatever the fees were to attend the seminar. This was early in my career. I came home after 2 days. I was sharing with Vicki some of the things that I had learned. She summed it up beautifully in just a couple of words. She says, "Oh, so do more of what works and less of what doesn't. Is that what you learned in 2 days, Paul?" I'm like, yeah, that's kind of pretty much it. You do more of what works and less of what doesn't. What doesn't work in a relationship? Dr. Gottman nailed it. In his research, he found that there was a predictable 4-part pattern that led to the destruction of a relationship. So as we're talking about self-destructive behavior in relationships, we probably ought to draw on some of that amazing research that's been done by people who have reasons to know. The number one thing that he identified is criticism. Criticism. Now, criticism doesn't have to be real or intended. As long as it's perceived, it works. Think about it. Aren't there times when people feel criticized by you when you didn't intend any kind of criticism at all? Yeah, it has to do with their perceptions and the way they're seeing things. Criticism is one of those most destructive elements, and Gottman pointed out that it leads to the next steps in that 4-part negative cascade: criticism, defensiveness, contempt, and stonewalling, which means turning away from each other instead of turning toward each other. Criticism, probably the number one thing that can destroy a relationship. The second one that I came up with, and maybe this one should be number one because it's one of my favorite topics: negativity. Negativity. That's tied to the criticism, right? Because criticism is usually focusing on something negative and then feeling compelled to bring that to someone's attention, right? Something that you don't like. Well, that's a form of negativity, but it's not just in the criticism. Negativity creeps into relationships and drives behaviors within a relationship that are completely self-destructive. I say self-destructive because it hurts you to be negative, but it's very destructive to a relationship because of the effect that it has. Not only criticism, but check this out. What if I'm constantly negative about myself or my circumstances? Oh, my life is so hard. Oh, this stinks. I hate this. Between complaining and criticism, I'm not much fun to be around at that point. It's a very destructive behavior within a relationship to be negative. Okay, how about another one? Selfishness. Oh yeah, this is where it's all about me. It's all about me. I talk about me. I'm concerned about how I feel about you, how I feel about myself. I might be concerned about how you feel about me. See, it's all about me. This selfishness tends to destroy relationships. You know what? For all of these, just check in with how you feel if other people are doing these destructive behaviors. Yeah, it's just repulsive. You just want to stay away from that and avoid that relationship. It doesn't draw you in. Selfishness is the third. The fourth one that I've identified here is disrespect. Okay, now disrespect comes in a lot of different forms. And I picked that word because I think it summarizes a whole lot of different elements. I've talked in other videos, for example, about the love choice. The love choice is that every interaction we have in a relationship is going to fall on one side or the other, either the love side or the hate side, either a little or a lot. Disrespect is a hate choice. Let's be clear about that. I think any level of disrespect is a hate choice. You know, I had an experience back in my training years. I was running a group for juvenile delinquents. Okay, these are teenagers who were referred by the court into my group. As I was interacting with these kids, there was this one in particular who was sitting clear over on the side of the class, and he had his hat on backwards, and he's chewing on a toothpick, and he's got a bolt through his nose, you know, and he's just got this attitude. And we're talking about respect, and he says, "Well, I respect people who respect me." I'm like, wow, that is impressive. That's not hard to do. It's not hard to respect people who respect you, is it? No, what's challenging is for you to be respectful no matter what. Disrespect destroys relationships. Now, that kind of leads us into what I wanted to wrap this video up with, because we've just identified 4 things that can destroy a relationship. 4 things that are self-destructive behaviors within a relationship. The first one was criticism. The second one, negativity. The third one, selfishness. And the fourth one was disrespect. Okay, so if we're not going to do those things, what should we replace them with? Let's go into some opposites and see where we go with that. Instead of criticism, what if we replace that with appreciation and gratitude? Appreciation and gratitude. Is that the opposite of criticism? Well, I don't know, but it's a pretty good replacement for the criticism. So instead of looking for what you don't like, instead of looking for what you don't approve of in this relationship, what if you were to seek and find what it is that you're grateful for? What it is that you appreciate? You shift the direction of your mind to the appreciation or the gratitude, and that's going to change some things, isn't it? Gratitude, appreciation. Okay, what about for the negativity? Oh, that one's obvious. We're going to replace it with positivity. You know what? Go to the main page of this channel. The intro video is all about how to stay positive no matter what. Just go visit that. Look at it again. I've explained there psychologically how and why. Positivity is always a choice. And it doesn't matter what's going on around you. It's always a choice. I know that's a bold statement, but go look at that video and you'll see exactly what I mean. Can we replace our negativity, our noxious negativity, with a little bit of pathological positivity? Pathological. I get a little bit of flack for that word. That's actually the title of my book, Pathological Positivity. And I take some flack for that because from a psychological standpoint, the word pathological means disordered, disconnected from reality, crazy. And it sounds a little crazy to some people when I make the assertion that I just shared with you, that it's possible to be positive no matter what. That's a challenge because you look at your own circumstances and it's easy to say, oh, well, how can I be positive in the middle of all this? Yeah, it's a pretty good question. But usually it's not a question. It's a statement disguised as a question. How can I be positive? Hear the exclamation point? It's not a question. Turn it back into a question and it's a pretty good question. How can I be positive in the middle of all this? Yeah. Good question. Watch the video. I'll share that with you. Now let's go to the next one, selfishness. Okay, that one's pretty obvious. We're going to replace selfishness with selflessness. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't matter. It means that you change your focus. You change your focus. It's not about me. It's about this greater context of we and all of the people around me. It's not us and them. It's just us. When we change our focus off of ourselves. Now, let me make a little disclaimer here, because there is a benevolent power in self-interest. I'm not talking selfishness. I'm talking self-interest. An example is driving on the freeway. The only reason I can do that safely is because every other driver out there on the freeway is concerned about me? No, they're concerned about themselves. There's a benevolent interest in self-interest, or a benevolent make it possible for other people to live peaceably with us. In fact, suicide bombers, we don't even know how to deal with that. That terrorists use this tactic because it goes against the human psyche to put yourself in danger. Okay? So we count on other people having self-interest, and that makes us more safe. So when I say selflessness, I don't mean you abandon self-interest. I mean that you get the focus off of yourself. It's not about you. How you feel is only secondary. There's a greater common shared interest that I think we need to pay attention to. And so when our focus goes there, it actually serves us personally better as well. We replace the selfishness with selflessness, focus on service and enriching and creating value for other people. There's a lot of other reasons why that works. Now the last one, disrespect. We're going to replace that with respect. Respect is where we value and honor other people as co-inhabitants of the planet. Other people are more like us than they are different. I know that there's differences, and those differences are important, and we honor and celebrate those differences. It's differences that make us relevant and interesting to each other. It gives us a reason to have a relationship in the first place. If we were exactly the same, one of us would be unnecessary. And we won't get into which one. But it doesn't matter anyway, because we're exactly the same, right? No, it's our differences that make us relevant and interesting to each other. We will celebrate those differences. And respect also means that we're more alike than we are different. We all have a heart that gets filled sometimes with love and other times with fear. We're all like that. We all struggle to know what is the right thing to do in this moment. We all ask ourselves similar questions about our existence. We are more alike than we are different. And I think respect is a manifestation of that acknowledgement. We celebrate our differences and accept that we are all part of the same family. I am so glad you're here, that we get to have these conversations every day. I hope you're finding it beneficial, and I'll see you tomorrow.